Day, Kingstree, South Carolina becomes a place of remembrance and reflection. Join us for a powerful two-day commemoration marking the 60th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1966 call to march on ballot boxes. Together, we honor the past, examine the promise, and shape the future. Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th, 2026. For more information, contact C. Williams Rush at 803-397-1859.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Andrews the Podcast. This is Real Talk Tuesday. I am Jamal Richardson. And that event that's coming up here in May, it's going to be a big event. It's the 60th anniversary celebration of when Dr. Martin Luther King came down to Kingstree, South Carolina. I'm definitely excited about being a part of the committee that's putting that together. So a lot more information will continue to come out about that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do an interview on Thursday, surrounding that whole situation. So look forward to that. Again, we're looking for sponsors also. Again, the information, you got to contact Miss Rush. And of course, I don't have her information up here right now. So come on and get on in here, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off a little bit late today because softball season. Let's kick off the softball season this year. And of course, our practice starts at 7:00. But I got to give it to the coaches. They got us out there right at 8. You know what I mean? And then I had to shoot by Chipotle because I remembered in the middle of practice, damn, what are we going to eat? And so had a bunch of stuff to work through, but we worked it through. And I promise you guys, I got a great, great, great show for you tonight. I told you I'm going to expose a bunch of stuff tonight. We're going to get to all of that. Hit the like button as you come in. Let me know that you can hear me clearly. Don't let me go through a whole opening monologue and all this other things right here. And then you be like, well, we couldn't hear you, bro. So if you can hear me clearly, please do me a favor and just tap on the like button real fast. You know what I mean? Come on. I need somebody I got to go back to the old school way where I do the self-check. You see what I'm saying? Because apparently the like button has been hidden and nobody wants to hit it right now to give me the confirmation that I need. So we'll do it the old school way. We'll pull it up here. Do the self-check. You see what I'm saying? Bam! And there it is. You see how easy that was? That's all right. We still gonna get this work tonight, though, because I got a great show for you. And we'll get started with that on the other side of this right here. Where is that thing? Yes, we'll be getting started. I'm be introducing my guest for this evening. Very, very interesting guy. Again, we got a lot to talk about. Get the neighborhood drug dealers here. I need them to hear this too. They're going to want to hear this. I told you I got something for you. So right after this.
In times of trouble, you need someone who knows the law, knows the community, and knows how to fight for you. The law offices of Caesar McKnight, right here in Kingstree, South Carolina, is committed to protecting your rights and protecting your future. From criminal defense, personal injury, to family law. When the stakes are high, experience matters, and so does someone who listens. Call today and get a competent, passionate, and effective legal team on your side. Because when life hits hard, you don't have to go through it alone. The law offices of Caesar McKnight, justice for real people, serving the Kingstree and surrounding South Carolina communities. Call now or visit the website today or stop by for a free consultation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend I was up in Seneca. I was telling some of you guys this earlier. And I was at an event. It was a fundraiser event for the NOLA Network. And I had the pleasure of, in the middle of doing what I was doing, the mayor was like, hey, I got somebody I need you to meet. I got somebody that needs you to meet real fast, man. And so I'm gonna introduce you to the man that I met. So joining us tonight is Jadarius Evans. I said that right, Jadarius?
Yeah, you did.
All right, Jadarius Evans, NCC LPCA, a clinical, Jadarius is a NCC LCPA, a clinical mental health therapist, a researcher, and an advocate working to expand access to culturally responsive mental health care. Jadarius is a recent graduate of Clemson University Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program, where he focused on supporting children, adolescents, adults, and families through a variety of therapeutic approaches. He also is the founder of Project Heart, which he's going to tell you some more about later on. And Heart stands for Hope, Empowerment, Advocacy, Resilience, and Transformation. Heart is a community-based research initiative that uses photo voice. You're going to have to break that down to me. Photo voice to explore mental health experiences among Black men and youth. His work focuses on elevating lived experiences and turning those stories into meaningful community dialogue, research, and policy advocacy. In addition to his clinical and research work, Jadarius serves as South Carolina's legislative ambassador for the National Board for Certified Counselors, and is an active member of the South Carolina Association, helping strengthen the connections between mental health professionals, communities, and policymakers across the state. Through therapy, research, and advocacy, Jadarius Evans is committed to empowering individuals and communities while advancing equity in mental health care. And I want to welcome to Andrews, the podcast, my man.
Thank you so much for having me.
See, we got whoa, that's a little bit of music. I thought I had a round of applause. But anyway, man, Jadarius, man, again, welcome, brother. Welcome. After that intro right there, tell us a little bit more about yourself, Jadarius. For the people who may not be familiar with the type of work that you do, tell us about yourself again and what led you into mental health counseling.
Yeah, I think that's kind of all one and the same questions for me, really. I come from a pretty small town in South Carolina, Chester, South Carolina. I don't know, many people know where that's from or where that's at.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those towns, you just drive through and, you're just like, oh, it's just another little town in South Carolina, and you just go on next to Rock Hill or you going up to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Starting out, I think my mental health journey just began there, growing up in a small town with not a lot of resources, not a lot of people to talk to. And I've always yearned to have somebody to talk to. I always look for people, that could support me through my journey, through my life and what I was going through. As I got to Clemson when I went to undergrad, I don't even think I know for certain I was doing something I didn't want to do. I was going into the engineering field, and I just knew it wasn't for me, really. I could do the work. I could, do the math, do all this stuff, but it wasn't resonating with who I was as a person. So I switched my major, switched psychology, and I found my love and passion for psychology, but also slowly but surely mental health as well, through like learning things, educating myself, learning about the things I went through, the traumas that I've had, but also just coming from a town that lacked so many resources that many people do have. So a lot of my passion for the work I do now stems from coming from that small town and seeing so many people not have the resources that a plethora of people did have. And that drives me, I think.
I could see that because I'm from Andrews, South Carolina, small town, another one of these blip on the radars. Matter of fact, my drive back, man, and that's crazy because that story that you're telling, I promise you, that story resonates through. As I took the back way from Seneca back to Orangeburg, and I came through Abbeville. I I came through Saluda, and just a bunch of these little, again, McCormick flips in the radar. And mental health is not a it's not a talked about thing. You know what I mean? Just forget about the resources there. It's just not it's almost taboo. It's almost a taboo subject coming from the small town that I came from. That's just not the top of the conversation is nobody, checking for, hey, how are you doing mentally?
Yeah.
All right. And so you said you started out in engineering and
yeah, I was gonna be a
position.
I can't remember what the name of the engineer. See, I can't even remember the name of it, but I think it was along the lines of structural engineering or civil engineering. That's what it's going to be. I tried to, I believe, make a mission out of civil engineering that really aligned with mental health. I remember so much. I was like, I can build infrastructure. I can make things to provide for people and help them. I know in Chester, South Carolina, there was a lady. I remember during high school, I was in dual enrollment, and we talked about this lady who didn't have a house, she was unhoused, but she lived on the hill. It's a place in Chester called the Hill, and she didn't have anywhere to stay. And I remember something was going on in Chester, and I think they was trying to get her to move from downtown to somewhere else. Just she couldn't be downtown, basically. The only place she was staying at. And I tried to find the fact that, mental health, I'll say this, mental health is so much more than the mental. Mental health is the encompass of everything. I mean, your livelihood, the resources you have, everything that's going on in your life. I tried to make engineering that. And it was funny. I mean, one teacher came up to me and said, man, is this what you want to do? Because the things you're writing about and the passion you have, it doesn't seem like this is for you. Find your purpose. And I've always remembered, I think his name was Professor Waldrop or something like that. I've always remembered those words he said to me, find your purpose, because I don't think this is it. And it wasn't. It really wasn't, because I was trying to make something out of this profession and almost disrespected in a way, not purposely, but disrespected in a way, into something that I feel like I just had to be, because I was smart, because I was bright. I got into Clemson and I had these good grades, and I've done this work academically, but really I found my work in the mental health space, in the advocacy space, in the therapy space. And I mean, I'm so happy that I did make the decision, because I know it's hard for a lot of people going into college to even choose first year out. I think even for me, it was a lot more pressure, because I came in with a bunch of credits, right? So I could finish school in 2 years. And I was like, man, like I can't mess this up. I got 2 years. Let me get out, save as much money as I can. I barely have anything coming from a small town. I don't want to get in debt, blah, blah, blah. But I forgot to take the moment and be like, I don't have to do 2 years. I can do 3 years. I can do 4 years if I need to. Take my time to actually process. And that in itself was my mental health journey beginning, of like, I can choose to not just do everything in 2 years. I can take a moment to breathe and be like, man, what do I even want to do? Do I even want to do this? Is this for me? And I think it kind of all blends together for me at times. But yeah.
What was that conversation with the family when you know what I mean? Okay, he's at school, he's studying to be an engineer, and then all of a sudden the phone call comes, I think I'm going to change. What was that?
Honestly, at that time, it was one of the lowest points in my life. I went into school during COVID. So 2020, fall 2020, there was a lot of death going around. There's a lot of just fear. And unfortunately, I lost my grandfather at that same time. I mean, it was, I never forget, it was November 2020. I'm walking to class, and my mom calls me, and my grandfather, he was already in the hospital, but it's, you get that call and you see the call, and this is got a different weight to it. So I'm like, okay, I'm answering. I'm walking to class, got my mask on, and she tells me, "We lost your grandfather. He had COVID, and unfortunately, he passed away." And from that, I continued to go to class, sit in class with that all tears welling in my eyes, and I'm just trying to like, man, I gotta listen, I gotta pay attention. In reality, I just need to take a break. In reality, I needed to cry because I just lost my grandfather. So when I did talk to my family and express everything that was kind of sitting with me, it was welcomed. I mean, considering the circumstances, it was welcomed. You know, it was. They didn't understand because I had these big aspirations and dreams to be the civil engineer, but they were willing to listen and see me at the time.
No doubt. So in your work, you work with children, adolescents, and adults and families. What are some of the common struggles that you see that you're seeing right now?
Man, my background started in domestic violence and sexual violence. So that's the very first work I jumped into. I jumped into sexual violence with kids way back in 2023. Forensic interviews, watching that process and just kind of seeing the things they shared and just in general, that's heavy stuff, you know? So I came in on the deep end, seeing this heavy. Some people will say the heaviest of the heaviest because you have kids and you think sexual assault with kids. People just can't think any worse than that. Going in through that and through the years, sticking with domestic violence, sticking with sexual violence, sticking with just anxiety, depression, all these things. When you get to a point, and again, I'm very early in my career. I'm a new baby. I'm a tadpole, but at the same time, I have a personal experience. I have lived experience. I have all these things stemming from my hometown, stemming from college. I like to destigmatize mental health, and when I say that, is the things we experience together as a human race, but also what we experience individually. That's what we see. I love being a therapist because in a way, it resonates with being a healer, and that's why I attribute it to. I feel like my job, I get to say I'm a healer. I'm a professional healer, and there's no better job than that. I get to help people, and so not even I don't even like to say help people. I like to support people and walk along with them. I'm a professional healer in a way. Some of the things I feel like I see now, it's just based on the current environment of our world. You know, it constantly shifts. The things I saw back in 2023, yeah, they still show up today. You still see that dread, the anxiety, the trauma. I mean, the heavy trauma that everybody holds, and it shows up so differently. Trauma is trauma. And I like to say that too. No matter what, I mean, if you feel and your body tells you that this was traumatizing, it is trauma. And it's something we need to process and, shake off and get you back to a point where you will feel regulated. Right now, a lot of my work does resonate around kids. I have a caseload of about 25 people. About 3 of those people are full of adults, so range from like 40 plus. But the rest of them, I mean, I got little ones. I see K5, well, not K5, just coming out of K5 all the way to middle school. And man, I love it. But a lot of stuff I see with them is just behavioral stuff. But what I like to say with kids, especially with behavioral stuff, most times when a kid presents as really, really angry, they're just really sad. They don't really know how to communicate that. They don't really know how to communicate that. And it's not their fault, but it's nobody's fault it's definitely not mine to judge anybody. It's definitely not mine to be like, oh yeah, why are you so angry? No, my job is to, okay, you got the right to be angry, especially with everything you're telling me. But where's your sadness at? Where are your tears? When the last time you cried? You not feel okay with crying. And why is that? Let's find the balance between being angry and also being sad, because they brother and sister emotions. And you deserve the right to feel both of them. So a lot of times with my kids, I love them to death, is really just processing and helping them learn those value things of what is emotional literacy. How we begin to process things. And some of these kids, like I said, back to my work in 2023, are processing things that full-grown adults aren't even processing. Losing people, losing entire families, dealing with.
I had that conversation at softball practice tonight with some other fathers. And I was talking about some kids that go to the kids' school that our kids go to, and I was just talking about the fact that some of those kids are dealing with things that, as an adult, a lot of these people have never dealt with. You know what I mean? Like you said, deaths, just like where death is becoming normal to them. Simple things like, this child might be in a situation where there's no lights or there's no running water in the situation, and this child's processing this, and then coming to school when you talking about Mary had a little lamb. It's tough. So tell us where are you currently practicing, and what is a typical day for you, like as a therapist? You're saying that you deal with kids mostly.
Currently, I reside in Greenville. I practice in Greenville. Current day for me really is seeing about 5 people a day. If not, it depends. It depends. Like most of my adult, I look as a therapist, being flexible is one of the beautiful things about my job. I can be flexible, but also I got boundaries. I'm not gonna see you past 7 o'clock, but I understand you don't get off work till 5. Let's work something out. Let's figure it out. So it just depends. Sometimes I see 6 people. Sometimes I see 5 people. That's another big part of being a therapist is self-care. That's one thing that you really, really have to be on. And if you don't, you're gonna burn out. And you just, at this point, everything you learn is out the window because you're just practicing unethically. You're a burnt out person trying to help somebody else when you need help yourself. So a typical day really is dealing with people's trauma, sitting with them through it, processing things, supporting them, being my genuine self, showing up as me, not no robot, not no, how are you doing today? No. How am I doing? Man, I'm tired today. You tired? It's been a long day. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. It's kind of early. I got sleep in my eyes. Being that genuine version of myself, but also understanding how to ethically show up as well. That's what I really value as a therapist, and that's what I mean in being culturally competent and culturally competent care. Understanding that so much of culture is important to people. Culture is important to me. I'm not going to suppress that just because I'm going to a therapeutic space. I'm going to show up and always be me. And I do that a lot for my little kids. They see me as, and I only tell them, call me Mr. JD. That's what they call me, JD for short. I say, just call me JD. In this space, this is yours. I'm here with you, but this is your space. You get to define how it is. So a typical day really looks different in terms of what we're processing or what we're doing. But for me, it's a lot of regulating. It's a lot of taking those moments in between sessions to take a breath, maybe get a sip of water, especially if it's been a taxing session. So a lot of self-care, but also just a lot of holding space for people and having understanding that this job really is not meant to be forever. It's meant to only be for a time. I wouldn't want to do therapy forever, and nobody should do as a therapist. Should do therapist forever, be a therapist forever, because no human can take all that.
And that's one of the thoughts that's going through my head now is I like the way that you said, in the morning that you really have to deal with your mental health. So when somebody asks you, and you don't become a robot to where you just like, yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just kind of stacking things on. I was having a conversation where we were talking about a particular individual who has not, and this is us kind of just doing our self, where the person hasn't grieved. The person hasn't allowed themselves, like you said, hasn't allowed himself to cry, or hasn't allowed to go through whatever emotions they were supposed to go through. Talk about how dangerous that is. I want you to say this, talking to our adult audience now, like how dangerous, what kind of situation can you be creating for yourself when you don't have the tools to emotionally understand that I'm supposed to process this that way, or I think I got a question out of that somehow.
Yeah, you did. I put it like this. some of the practice I use, I like to use a lot of somatic practices. And what that means is channeling within the body. And what you're talking about right now, withholding things, think of it like this. I like to use this analogy. Humans are very akin to animals. When an animal's in a life or death situation, for instance, if we are in the savannah, a gazelle's finished, almost getting caught by a cheetah, it survives. What does that gazelle do? That gazelle shakes off the entire experience because it almost died. Its heart's pumping, its body shaking. It releases all of that because it has to. If it doesn't, it stays within its body. It's the same thing for people. When we don't release that tension, when we don't release those things that have pent up inside us, they stay. And they show up as maladaptive behaviors, not maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe a year from now, when we lose somebody and we forgot to cry last year when we lost somebody, or we forgot to process and shake off and release all that stuff that we continue to build for a year until the next thing happens. So it's not necessarily a life or death situation, but we do operate very akin to animals in that way.
No doubt. No, yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys, listen, we got Mr. Jadarius Evans in the building, and I need you guys to really hit that like button. Right after this next break, after this break coming up here, we're going to talk about the foundation that you started, the Heart Foundation. And so, yeah, we'll get into that right after this.
German cockroaches, known for their resilience, have invaded the Johnson's household. Let's explore the causes and solutions to this unwelcome infestation. Number 1, entry points. German cockroaches enter homes through tiny cracks and gaps, seal any openings to prevent their infiltration. Number 2, clutter. Cockroaches thrive in clutter. Declutter your living space as it removes hiding spots and disrupts their breeding grounds. Number 3, moisture. Cockroaches are attracted to moisture. Fix leaks promptly. Keep areas dry. Use a dehumidifier to create an inhospitable environment. Solution number 1, hygiene. Maintain a clean living space. Regularly clean countertops, floors, and appliances to eliminate food residue that attracts cockroaches. Solution number 2, traps. Place roach traps near entry points and in infested areas. These traps help control the population and monitor the extent of the infestation. Solution number 3, seal entry points using caulk and weather stripping. This prevents cockroaches from invading your home in the first place. Solution number 4, proper garbage disposal. Dispose of garbage regularly in sealed containers. Cockroaches are attracted to food waste, so proper disposal is crucial in controlling their presence. Addressing the causes and implementing these solutions, the Johnson family successfully tackled their German cockroach infestation, restoring peace and comfort to their home.
And if you cannot do that, reach out to me at Palmetto Pest Control. We will definitely get that taken care of for you. You know, right now it's that time of year that the weather's starting to, warm up a little bit. We having these warm days, and before long, the termites will be flying and my phone will be ringing. So make sure you go ahead and get me on. Get on my schedule here for this upcoming season here. But all right, so guys, we are back here with my man Jadarius. I'm gonna pop this up. All right, I got 2 things up. There's a PDF. Let me see if I can pull this PDF up. Let's find it. And I want you to tell us about, well, where are you? Where you gonna be? No, not Google Slides. Technology. All right, your computer. There we go. Boom. And there it is. Okay. So which
we can hit this one up first.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Project Heart is a organization that you started. Tell us a little bit about Project Heart and what is the goal of this project?
Yeah. So Project Heart, like you mentioned in my intro, a good bit of being a therapist, and what I realized is I don't have to just do work within this therapy space. I get to do also stuff and be an advocate outside of it. And I have a passion for research. I also have a passion for advocacy as well. But research has been something that has really just been coming up for me so much. Project Heart. Let me see. Let's start. So, first year of my grad program, back in 2024, what was that, 2024? Yeah, I think 2024. The National Board for Certified Counselors. This is an organization that is the organization that licenses your life coaches, your social workers, myself included, your school counselors, all of these people. This is who the National Board for Certified Counselors are. They are right there, like it says, that they give our tests. They also give a lot of resources and just guidance on how do we get licensed. And they also handle things at a government level for counselors, for clinicians. They connected with me and I connected with them randomly. It actually wasn't random. I got a highlight for a Counseling Today article, which is kind of a publication that gets sent out to all counselors across the nation. And through that, they connected with me and an amazing man. His name is Brian Banks. He was with the American Counseling Association at the time, and he transferred to NBCC, which is National Board for Certified Counselors. He was like, "Hey, we're starting something new here at NBCC, and honestly, I want you to be a part of it." So some time went by, and he reached out to me. He's like, "What we're actually starting is we're doing some funding. We're giving some funding to some counselors, and we're actually going to make it research done by counselors, but for counselors, to inform counselors. I want you to choose a topic, and I want you to choose a way you want to do this research and conduct it, and we'll give you funding for it." And at the time, I mean, I'm in my first year of grad school. I got classes going on. I'm like, man, I don't even know if I can do this. So I got a lot of support from my program, Clemson University, and I became the lead for Project Heart, which is a research initiative devoted to suicide, specifically suicide with Black men and male teens. And during that, I was like, I don't want it to be like regular research. And when I say that, I don't want more numbers. We got enough numbers and things aren't changing. We have so much data and nobody, from my point of view, is listening. And I said, I want to do something different. I want to do something not only creative, but to give power and empower Black teens and Black men. So doing some research, I found this methodology. It's called Photo Voice. Photo Voice.
Yes, that's there you go. That's my next question. I see you was leading up to it. And that is you're in the Photo Voice, and for people like myself that's hearing that for the first time, break that down for us and tell us what that is.
So Photo Voice is this really, really cool thing. Basically, I thought it was a dream. I basically came up with the idea. I was like, what if people took pictures and talked about it? And I staffed that with my program. I staffed that with not a supervisor, but a professor. And she was like, JD, there is a methodology that's just like that. And I actually do it myself. It's called Photo Voice, where you have participants take pictures of something that's on a prompt. And the prompt, of course, is how do Black men and male teens view suicide within a community? You ask them to take a picture, and then we come together as a group. We name those pictures, we theme those pictures, and we talk about it as a group and the meaning behind why you took this picture. And then as a group, we collectively have our individual themes, but also our overarching theme together. And the beauty behind Photo Voice is you don't know what people are going to say. And for me as a researcher, I love that. I love that I didn't have a conclusion. I had thoughts. I was like, oh, I'm a black man myself. I can take pictures and I can think this and think that. It was completely different than what I thought. Some of the things I resonated with, and that's what I wanted from this project. That's what I wanted from this research, to show that not this research is going to generalize Black suicide, specifically Black men. It doesn't generalize it, but when you hear and see these pictures, we all can transfer something from the fact that this 7-year-old, or not 7, this 13-year-old took this picture of a basketball court and a worn out basketball that represents his community, the court, and the ball being himself, not having any resources, compared to a pristine court and a basketball that's fully pumped with no holes in it. And discussion around how that picture itself can resonate with the group about how they
Bro,
feel.
this is mind blowing, man. I love photography. Okay. I love cameras. I love, and that's why to me it was like, oh, I got the guy for you. I got the guy for you. Because I'm saying that, man, because and I it's like I knew this, but then when you put a name to, when I'm looking at my pictures, that's what's going on in my head. That's that photo voice that's going on in my head, because all of those pictures tell a story. They capture that time, and wow, this is and I'll be honest with you guys. I met this man on the floor of this event, right? And we talked for a few minutes because I was, I had a bunch of stuff going on or whatever. And but I knew that this conversation was going to be just from the the brief conversation we had. And you said photo voice then, and I was like, the hell is he talking about, photo voice? You know what I mean? So, but I apologize for cutting you off, but go ahead and talk a little bit more about that.
No. But yes, the mythology, the research-driven mythology, photo voice is beautiful. I mean, to be able to express, things words may not be able to even convey through pictures, and do it in a safe way. And that's where my background comes in, mental health. I saw opportunity to create a group rooted in mental health, safety, and having these guidelines of, when we come together as a space, we're going to respect each other. Also, we're going to process some things too. So with this study, I had 7 guys from an organization here in Greenville called Young Brothers Academy. Amazing group. I mean, they do amazing work with the youth here, especially young brothers. I got 7 of those guys. And I mean, it may not sound like a lot of people, 7 people, seven kids, but it is. When you see these pictures, when you hear these things,
that's again, next question. What are the stories that are coming out of this? And that's, again, like I said, it may not be, the number may not, but I can just imagine the information that you're gleaning from this. So what kind of information are you getting from this?
Yeah. So I have basically 2 things. I got a publication coming out pretty soon. I'm working on the manuscript right now. I got to get it down to 30 something pages. I'm at 43. I'm a heavy writer, but when I get it down, I will share it. What I can tell you is the overarching theme. We ended up making it really cool. So we making it personalized. And I love this about Photo Voice because it can be personalized. And I'm doing like an album, disc A and disc B, this 1, this 2. The overarching thing, the overarching title of the album, everybody has their own narrative. This is what the kids came up with.
Yes.
And the beauty behind Photo Voice, I am only a guy. I don't influence anything. No one in that room who helped facilitate with me influenced anything. Other than the structure of asking very simple questions, nothing was influenced. Maybe it was supported, but I didn't influence anything. It was all those kids. So the overarching theme is everybody has their own narrative. And disc A relates to hope, and disc B, risk factors. And many of those things related to hope included family, nature, just resilience, and just being connected to people. Faith was also a hope factor. Risk factors, a lot of those things you could guess. Also, just not having access to resources, not having anybody to look up to, not being able to maybe communicate about, things that are going on in people's lives. There was one picture, and I wish I had them right here with me. I can't remember where I put them at, but I can describe it to you. Think of a corridor, a hallway in a way, at an apartment. You got the walls, and then the bottom of the floor. It's all white. And at the end, it's a light, and it's also a light kind of right at the beginning of the picture from the flash. But what the kids saw, well, one kid he saw this picture as hope, because you had these white walls, and he called it reach. You're always reaching as a Black teen, always reaching for something greater. You're always reaching to be something greater, to have something greater. But the beauty behind Photo Voice, the group also gets to talk about the picture as well. And what the group found from this picture was quite the opposite. They saw it as a risk factor. They saw the white was shrinking and suppressing the darkness, which was Black people, Black teens. And a lot of them resonated with this and said that they felt that the white was actually swallowing them, because they feel that within their school systems. They feel that within their neighborhoods. They feel that within where they go. So to have these two truths and hold them in a group, it was so beautiful. I mean, tears were shed. It was heavy. And all to be, these kids are 13 to 17 and have these insights about all this stuff through pictures. And now it wasn't directly related to suicide, but we got there. It wasn't, oh, I took a picture of why I may want to complete suicide, or I took a picture of what further influences suicide. No, we processed, and then we got to a point where, this could be a risk factor, but it also could, this right here, over here, you took a picture of this, took a picture of almost eclipse-like picture where the sun's being blocked. And it's like light coming out from the leaf of the sun. And it reminded this teen of hope and God and being connected to faith. To hold all these things in one group, and then to, reflect towards the middle, towards the end about, well, this can relate to suicide in some type of way. But I can hold space for all the other things that I did share as well. And then at the same time, I connected with my brothers. I connected with people that maybe I did know, or maybe I didn't know, on a level that I've never been able to connect with people before. And that's what I really wanted from that group. I mean, they had many asks of me. And one of them, the one that really sticks with me, is don't do this and it doesn't do anything. Or I can't remember the exact wording, but it's along those lines. Don't take
the hope away. Basically, is what it sounds like to me. Yeah. Let me ask you this: as someone working both clinically and research, do you feel that policymakers, because that was a big theme about at that event that we were at Saturday night, is reaching the word, reaching the policymakers to make in that case, the test for kids, the heart test for kids mandatory as it is been made in Florida. So do you feel like policymakers are really paying attention to these issues?
See, that's kind of the hope with the research. I come to, and that's another avenue I'm traveling down right now. Being the legislative ambassador for NBCC and connecting with legislators and trying to get involved within this legislative realm to educate myself even further, because I see everything. I mean, I'm on the ground, I'm boots on the ground every day. I see these issues that are impacted by policy. Why can't I speak on them? Why shouldn't I? Let me actually take the step and do that. So with Project Heart specifically, one of the things I wanted to do and will do is change policy related to suicide, to bring both the numbers and these personal narratives and just, hey, you got both of them right there. We got to do something. You got these personal narratives, these direct quotes and pictures from, oh, it's only 17, but these 17s can show that they resonate with hundreds, thousands of people.
No doubt.
Even right now, we having a conversation, everybody on here, they might resonate with something I said. But we also have all this data, this plethora of data. You can look up what's the leading cause for death between 13 and 17. One of them probably gonna be suicide. And the data shows, and the data proves, and the data supports. But having, like I said in the beginning, to empower these teens, because that's, if you're talking about a taxing subject such as suicide, I don't want to go in with this and trauma informed, being able to understand that this is a taxing topic to talk about. So with that, setting it up as such where it can come out to be empowering.
Because there's a lot of stigma in our community when it comes to about therapy. And so what do you think, why do you think so many Black men avoid seeking help?
See, and I think that's a beautiful question, but I can't generalize that for all Black men, because again, my journey was different. Everybody has I like to say,
I think it may be a generational thing, because I think we're starting to. I
think it's a multitude of things, you know. We have overarching. I like thinking systems. I like to think systematically when we try to approach maybe a whole population. We have overarching themes by society that tell a certain group certain things. You know, as a Black man myself, and I can speak from my personal experience, I feel like oftentimes I am seen as intimidating, or I am seen as I have to cower or put my shoulders down. I go to the gym, I gotta put on extra clothes because I don't need to be showing off no muscle. Those themes and things that are embedded within us, they continue to foster and grow, just like I spoke about earlier, if we don't shake them off and release them. So that could lead to stigma, resentment, fear, but also thinking about the family system. What does your family say about therapy? Thinking about where you went to school at. It's so many things that can influence. And hopefully one day I could do a group related to that. I would love to. I would love to come to Andrews and let's do a photo voice group related to why maybe Black women, Black men, or just people of all colors, why don't you seek therapy, and how can we change that narrative?
So if a young Black man is watching right now and he feels, or a Black woman or anybody, and they feel that nobody is and I mean, let's just keep it specific to what we're talking about. We're talking about the mental health of Black men. If they're feeling right now that nobody understands what's going on or what they're going through, what would you say to them? What would be that first, okay, so boom, you got the platform and that kid's watching now. What do you say to that kid that's listening to you right now?
To a kid who feels no one understands them, I would say, you're probably right. We live in a world where things are constantly changing and many people are being traumatized every single day. To feel that you can understand someone through one conversation, multiple conversations, when they're not living the life that you live, you're right, they don't understand you. But can they hold space for you? And can you hold space for yourself? That's the next question I'm gonna ask. And if you don't have space for yourself, let's find somebody who can hold space for you until we figure out how can you feel understood and seen. So that's kind of how I would approach it. I feel, and I genuinely, when I show up with people, if they tell me I don't understand, okay, you're right. I don't understand.
Yeah, you kind of threw me off with that, but that's probably the best damn answer. No, that is the best answer, because That's what's you know what I mean. That's what they're dealing with at the time. So all right, so check it. Listen, we're gonna land this plane here. We're gonna take one more break, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna talk about solutions. Like, you know what I mean? What we're gonna talk solution based after this, right? Again, guys, we are here with Mr. Jadarius Evans. Be right back.
Most people know the building. Most people say the name, but very few people know the story behind it. Ralph H. Johnson Veteran Affairs Medical Center in Charleston, South Carolina, isn't named after a politician. It's not named after a donor. It's named after a young Marine who made the ultimate sacrifice. Ralph Henry Johnson was just 19 years old, a United States Marine, a Vietnam War veteran, a kid from South Carolina who answered the call. In June of 1968, during combat in Vietnam, Johnson's unit came under attack. Grenades began raining down. Ralph Johnson didn't hesitate. He didn't look for cover. He didn't think about himself. He threw himself on the grenade. He gave his life so others could live. For that act of courage, Ralph H. Johnson was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration in the United States. So every time a veteran walks through those doors, every time a family finds care, every time a life is saved inside that hospital, they're walking into a place of true valor. Not a name on a wall, not just a sign on a building, but a story, a sacrifice, a reminder of what service really means. So the next time you hear the name Ralph H. Johnson, ask yourself, did you know his story?
Yep, old brother Ralph down there in Charleston, man. They've got a naval ship named after that young brother too, man. It's a fascinating story. But all right, so listen, Mr. Jadarius, question is, what can communities do better to support mental health in young men?
I think understanding first and foremost that therapy isn't the first option, especially for young men. I think that's something I see a lot. You know, we understand and maybe we don't understand how important and how cool even therapy can be and how pivotal it can be in somebody's development. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the first option, you know? The first option really is like what I'm doing, just getting connected with the community, starting those grassroots programs, YMCA, checking in on your people, creating those habits for kids developmentally taking everything we give them. It's like they're tape recorders. They just taking and taking and taking. Like, oh, I'm learning this. I'm learning. It's almost like they're the biggest learners in the world because that's what they're programmed to do currently until they get to a point cognitively they understand that, oh, I can actually learn what I want to learn. But until then, we get the model for them and we get to show up for them and care for them. So in terms of mental health, for me personally, I always like to just interact with kids in a way that's just pure, joyful, on their level. If a kid's having, I guess, a meltdown or a temper tantrum, being aware of how I may feel as an adult, like, man, what you doing? Like, we in Chuck E. Cheese right now. We having a good time. We turning up. Why are you having a meltdown? Well, I dropped my toy. Okay. Well, let me think outside of myself for a moment for the youth and think, okay, I'm not going to punish or penalize this kid for crying because, you know, this seems small to me, but to him, it feels like the biggest thing in the world. Let me meet him where he's at so that later in life, he does the same thing for another kid. And we continue to change the cycle and break it. Breaking that cycle, breaking these maybe maladaptive habits is I think where we begin with mental health, because there's so many behaviors or habits that we deem as negative, or and later in life we don't like, and we go to therapy to change because they started in our youth. They started when we were kids. And like you said earlier, generational. Yeah, some things are generational, but we can begin to break that cycle little by little, chipping at it. And even like with my group, I mean, I got 7 kids to talk about suicide. I'm so proud of that. So proud of that. I mean, to get one kid alone to process and go through a 3 hour group, well, actually 4 hour group, to process and sit there. I got him some snacks, of course. I did get him some snacks.
Gotta
Took
have
a break.
snacks.
You took a break, but still, to have a kid sit there and process and talk about things, and that's something they're gonna remember for the rest of their lives.
No doubt,
So,
no doubt.
yeah.
What do you what's the role of schools, churches, and families? What role do they play in this?
I think they're very pivotal. I mean, all of those are safe spaces for a lot of people. They also bring a lot of values as well. Family in itself teaches everything. I mean, we all are personalized from what we took from our families. But in terms of schools, education, that's what we learn. That's what we learn to grow and develop. Now, when we get to secondary education, that's not for everybody. But that pivotal stage, K through 12, that's what we learn so much, not just academically, but how do we interact socially with people? How do we bring and get friends? And then within church, within faith, back to families and values, we learn so many things and lessons through that as well. All those are pivotal. I think all those are important, but it's all determined through family. I mean, like your family kind of dictates how that journey is.
Yes, that's that is that is crucial, man, and that's and I think that's one of the reasons why it's important to focus on the mental health of Black men, because that's going to go a long way into rebuilding these families, repairing these communities, and making these families whole. Is having a healthy head up there. You know what I mean? Basically, and it's not, maybe not a healthy head is what I mean, but just having tools in order to combat different situations as life, you know what I mean? Because, as unexpected things come, you may have tools to be able to, a way to process it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think one last thing, I mean, societal pressure, we as, I want to say, people of color within the United States have a lot of pressure on them. I mean, we put a lot of pressure on a lot of our people of color, all our minorities, everyone. We hold so much weight, and it shows up, man. It really does a lot in those kids, and specifically to the Black youth. You see it a lot. Oh, I gotta have my hair a certain way. I remember when I used to have hair out of here. I cut my hair off because I felt I was unprofessional. That in itself is a cycle that we need to break. Just because you have long hair doesn't mean you're unprofessional. Just because society says that or society views that. Taking pride in our culture, taking pride in who we are and what we look like. That in itself is just mental health. That's a part of it, of course, but I think it's a very important part.
That's a very important part, and especially when it comes to our girls, I think it's very important in getting to know who you are and being comfortable with what you are and what you look like, and that's a big thing. So Jadarius, if people wanted to support your work or get involved with Project Heart, how can they connect with you?
Honestly, that's something I've been working on. I'm trying to figure out. I guess my best friend, he's been my best friend for a while now. He says I do too much selfless work and I don't promote myself enough, and I don't have anything to really, that's not call my own, but my own practice or,
Bro, you got your own podcast platform right now. I mean, so and what I mean by is that if you, I already can tell you talk to different people and you want to bring people together, this platform is here for you. You know what I mean? And I don't have to be on the show or anything like that. Like I can sit in the back and quarterback it. You feel what I'm saying? While you do your thing or whatever. But we'll talk about that. We'll have a conversation about all of that, man. But yeah.
I guess the main way to connect with me through email. Email is the best way to connect with me.
Right. Let me put that up here on the screen real fast. Put it in the private chat real fast, and then I'll pop it up there. Yeah, but your friend is right, and that's the thing that I would tell the mayor. You know what I mean? You're doing all this good work, bro, but if nobody don't see it, you know what I mean? It's just like it's like the tree. If the tree falls in the wood, does it make a sound if nobody's around? You feel what I'm saying?
That's something. That's something I'm personally trying to work on. You gotta get past. And it's just I think you're that type that's just wired like that. You want to kind of work quietly. You know what I mean? Just do the work. Just kind of leave me alone. But unfortunately, man, especially because you're competing. It's like we're competing for attention with everything now. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You got everything, the music industry, you got movies, you just got just all this other thing. Everything's competing for attention. And if you don't do it, then it's just like it didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's just like it didn't happen. It's like this conversation right here, no matter what, bro, once I pull it off of here and pop it on a hard drive, I got this conversation forever. And I can always go back to it and clip it out. And so you gotta do it, bro. I mean, the work is too important. You feel what I'm saying? I get you.
So you got to do it. And guys, here's the email here on the screen. There is where you can reach him at jadarius.evans@gmail.com. So definitely, man. Again, I'll reach back out to you, man. And we got to get something on a regular basis. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm interested in this photo voice. This is I think it could be I just think it's. I feel like I'm about to be a part of something that's going to be revolutionary, man. That could really change things for some kids, man. Because I could see, I could see me with a group of kids and everybody got cameras and we just going, going on a hike, and then coming back and processing and everybody just kind of, going through and, dude, that's the
vision.
Yeah,
I will say I got one thing. It's not set in stone yet, but I'm working on something of that nature, a little bigger. I'm trying to connect with YMCAs throughout the state and maybe even implement that. A voice group program where we have 3 phases of mental health processing through photo voice. Second phase, having these kids maybe even write some bills based on what they talk about.
Absolutely, man. I was saying I got a friend who was a state representative. Once I take this off, I'm gonna send it over to him. I'm sure he's gonna be interested in it, man. But yeah, bro, let's work, man. I first of all, thank you for coming on. You know what I mean? Again, we had a brief conversation. I'm like, hey, look, I'm gonna send you a link, and then I was supposed to call you, but I got that first practice, and it was just kind of, everybody's wanting to ask questions and all that stuff, but we got it, man. So and let's build on this. That's all I ask, bro. Let's build on this.
Thank you, Jamal. I appreciate I appreciate you having me on. I really do.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So with that, man, listen, again, I will tomorrow after 4:30, you say you get off, right?
Myself, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll reach out to you tomorrow, man. We can have a longer conversation and start putting some stuff together, man. And because again, this is Yeah, I know when I'm on to something good, and I can tell about this. So I appreciate you, brother, for coming on. And again, you guys will see him in the future. One more time, there's his email address if you want to reach out to him. Jadarius, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, bro.
Thank you all for having me. I really enjoyed being here tonight.
All right, man. Dude. All right, yeah. I told y'all I had something for y'all. So all y'all drug dealers, that's for y'all. Okay? That's for y'all. It's a shame that we have to go that route with it. I have to put these crazy ads out there, you know what I mean? In order to, but it's all good. We ain't even gonna hop on that day. We ain't even gonna hop on that. All right. So great stuff. Really enjoyed the conversation tonight. And you guys have a